Morning, everybody. How you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I am Sean Butler. Bugsy Malone's just up in front. This is your Thursday morning cold Tottenham update. All your transfer news, views and clues and everything else is going on down the lane. You can be found right here. Please do me a favour, guys. Smash the like button for me. In fact, do it for Bugsy on the channel. It really helps the channel grow. In fact, do it for the video. Hit the subscribe button on the channel if you haven't already. And even if you have, double check you still are, because people continue to inform me that they have subscribed and yet find themselves unsubscribed. Hashtag shenanigans. Hit the notification bell and drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts on today's update. We've got some bits to get through, guys, so I won't hang around. Let's start with JAPHET Tanganga. We spoke yesterday about the cancellation of his loan over in Augsburg, in Germany. Didn't work out, didn't play a minute for them. He went over there, got injured, and then in the period between him getting injured and him being fit again, the manager that wanted him got sacked. The new manager didn't like it. They changed the system. It hasn't been a successful venture at all. So he returned home yesterday, literally just did his washing, and then he's been sent out on loan again to Millwall, who currently sit 16th in the Championship. So obviously they're having trouble winning games or getting points in matches, as they're in themselves a relegation scrap. So hopefully JAPHET Tanganga can go into that situation, offer some value, show his promise, show his potential, and then we will reflect on whatever that situation scenario looks like in the summer. As I said yesterday, always wish these players the best, always wish them healthy outcomes and hopefully successful ones. But in terms of do I think they are right and ready or will be ready or potentially valuable to Tottenham, not in terms of playing for the club. I don't think JAPHET Tanganga will. It's a shame for him because, you know, when I first saw him play under the Mourinho era, I think it was the Crystal Palace debut? I forget who he debuted against, and I thought he put in a really good shift. And I thought, oh, this guy could be, you know, one for the future, one for now, one for one of our own sort of thing. And obviously injuries and a succession of different managers that haven't really liked his playing style haven't really worked out. So anyway, we shall move on. He shall move on, and we wish him well. Next up, Sergio Reguilón. Yesterday confirmed he's gone to Brentford. 6-month loan, no option to buy, which is interesting. No obligation to buy either. Straight 6 month. He will be back at Tottenham in the summer, and it's interesting. I can't really figure out what that's about, why there's no option. Is it because he didn't want to commit to the club for more than 6 months? Does he hope to be able to go back to Spain? You'd imagine that Tottenham aren't really looking and seeing much value in him, seeing as in reality we probably are in need of a replacement rotation backup left back. Unless, of course, Tottenham are thinking, well, maybe in the summer we would use him, but right now there's no place in the squad for an extra man who's not homegrown, and he needs playing time to prove his value. Brentford obviously definitely see the value with their absence of Rico Henry, who, by the way, is a homegrown left-back who, when he's fully fit, I would absolutely love to have at Tottenham. I think he's a brilliant, brilliant player. The pace on that guy, his ability to get forward and connect up with Mbeumo and Wissa, just sensational stuff. Big fan of Henry, but he's obviously out injured. He's been out injured for most of the season, so that's why Reguilón's gone to Brentford. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think he'll get a lot of minutes. And I think, look, I like Sergio Reguilón. I think he's a really good player. I think he's obviously got a little bit of I think there's accusations or allegations that he's a bit of a party guy from back during the COVID era, broke the rules and all that stuff. But, you know, people can change, people can mature. I think he did well at Manchester United, and I think he'll do very well at Brentford. I think, you know, Brentford have to be careful because they don't want to get sucked into a relegation battle. And if they were to sell Ivan Toney this January, then, I mean, look, you'd think they'd have enough to stay up, especially with what's happening with Everton and Nottingham Forest and the likely additional points deductions there. You think Brentford will be fine. But if they do lose Ivan Toney, then, you know, is the 70 million quid or whatever it is, 60 million pound that they might be able to get for Ivan Toney, is that going to be enough to run the risk of getting relegated? Maybe the Everton and Nottingham Forest news actually has some sort of indirect consequences in that they see the eventuality for those clubs, and Brentford think actually maybe we'll be safe anyway, so let's sell Ivan Toney now, get some money. You know, there's lots of, I guess, rabbit holes and connotations you could go off at and if you were thinking about that stuff. But we're not going to spend too much time talking about that here because this is a Tottenham update, not a Brentford update or an Arsenal update. But anyway, Serge Reguillon's going to Brentford, and it should be a good deal. But he's back in the summer, and then we'll kick that can down the road and figure out whatever that looks like nearer the time. Let's get back to some transfer news, views and clues for you guys. And of all of the aggregators this morning, there's 3 stories that are still percolating, one of which we've spoken about ad nauseum on this channel. Nothing really has developed in the story. It's just a regurgitation, a repetition of the same thing, and that's Conor Gallagher. I'm not going to spend any more than 30 seconds just repeating what's in the news, and that is that Tottenham are still very much interested in this deal and would hope that, given all that's going on with FFP and Chelsea's requirements and Conor Gallagher's inability right now to convince them to offer him a new contract, etc., £50 million is still the number. I personally don't think it's going to happen. I've gone 180 a little bit. I guess I've thought about this story more and more and more, and increasingly, guys, I've got to be honest, I'm leaning away from wanting it to happen. And when we first started speaking about Conor Gallagher, you may remember, I was very much like on board with it. I saw the logic. I like the player. I do like the player. I still do like the player, and I think he would fit our system very well. However, for the previously mentioned reasons, like he is Chelsea through and through, he would be coming here somewhat under duress, even if a conversation with Ange Postecoglou could, you know, get him pumped for the, you know, the journey and convince him of the value and all that stuff. I still don't necessarily think I want someone who would rather stay at a place that have made it clear that they are willing to sell him. You know, loyalties run deep with your clubs, and playing for another club whose arrival might not necessarily be quite that captivating a concept. Also, £50 million, a lot of money. As I said before, I think that there's going to be bargains available in the summer. I think we should hold fire. And also, you know, helping Chelsea out of a hole. I'd much rather see them be in that hole this time next year when their accounts are audited again. So, as I say, I'm okay with it if it happens. I don't think it will happen, but if I had to choose, I'd say probably no at the moment. Next up on the storyboard, guys, is Itakura, Borussia Mönchengladbach's centre-back / number 6. I've mentioned him a few times before. Japanese centre-back as well. Was linked with Celtic a couple of years ago. A very, very, very interesting player. I really like this guy, personally. He is a ball-playing centre-back who knows how to pass the ball, knows how to progress the ball out of the back. Very, very forthcoming with it. He likes to do what these new versions of centre-backs do, but he's been doing it for a few years. Celtic wanted him under Postecoglou. That didn't materialise. That was back when he was playing for Schalke. He obviously went to Mönchengladbach instead. And he's continued in his impressive growth as a player over the last couple of years. The good parts about his game is that he's versatile. He can play in the defensive midfielder role. So if Tottenham are looking to kind of complete that defensive option set by looking for a 6, but also at the same time keeping one eye on the ability to slot back into a back 3. A lot of people on the Twitter are talking about Tottenham moving into a back 3 at times. I personally don't think they're going to do that. I think that there will be times when we see a Dragusin, a Romero and a Van de Ven on the pitch at the same time, but I don't think it will be in a back 3. I think it will be just in a back 4 with Dragusin playing as a right back, similar to how Manchester City play centre-backs in the full-back positions. I think there's a bit of a kind of confusion in the way that people are interpreting the opportunity there. Anyway, Itakura can play as a centre-back on the right and on the left, but also can play in the 6, so you can know he's very good at passing. He's brilliant at interceptions, brilliant at blocks. I think he got the record for blocks last season in the Bundesliga, and tackles. You know, he's an old school centre-back that can get forward with the ball. So everything you're looking for, right? The problems with him are his disciplinary record isn't great. He's got a propensity to get a yellow card or a red card, and of late he's missed some significant playing time with a couple of injuries. So if you were going to kind of tag him as something, you might tag him as injury prone. And I think we've got enough of those. I'm not even convinced really that Tottenham are still looking for a centre-back. Maybe they're looking at him, as I say, as a sixth option. But again, I don't think this will happen. I think this is kind of people looking for stories. But it is out there. It's been in the Sun. It's been in the Daily Mail. It's been around the kind of the bigger broadsheets. So bring it to your attention. I'd be interested to see if it does happen. And if it does happen, like I say, he's a player I really do like. But when you think about the fact we've now got three kind of good out-and-out centre-backs, you've also got Ben Davies who can do a job, even though he's been linked away from the club yesterday. Leeds United apparently were after him. I'd be very surprised if he wanted to drop down to that level. I think he's very much a Premier League standard player. I know a lot of you guys aren't a massive fan of him. I've always been a fan of dependable Ben. I think he is versatile, reliable, and does a good job. And I don't necessarily see the need to move him on in any way, shape or form. He's also homegrown from a Premier League perspective. So I think that whole story of him leaving is nonsense. And I also don't really see the need to go and get another centre-back if you're looking for a specific centre-back right now, when you have Dragusin, Romero, Van der Ven and Ben Davies. Plus you've got Emerson Royale who can step in when needed and hasn't done a bad job. And obviously you've got Ash Phillips, you know, Dorrington and then Vuskovic that are coming up in the next 18 months. I don't think we need to spend any more money there, but let me know your thoughts if you think we do. So yeah, we'll move on from that one, guys. But listen, keep an eye on it because the story doesn't seem to go away, and it's been hanging around for quite a while. Next up on the list is a story that came out. I first noticed this about 2 weeks ago, and I did a whole breakdown of it, but then I never actually uploaded the video. I don't know why. I can't remember what happened, but for some reason I didn't upload the video. I'll see if I can still pull out the best bits of it. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. But either way, I'll just put the stats up. Barrenetxea. It's a really difficult name to pronounce. I'm not sure if I'm butchering it. Barrenetxea, I think. Plays for Real Sociedad, 22-year-old left winger. Very exciting player, guys. I really like this kid. He's how many times have we been speaking about it on this channel, on every channel, the need to have a forward, a winger that actually does what our desirable wingers do, and which most of our wingers don't, which is have the desire and the willingness and the want, the self-confidence to take players on. And we've got a lot of different options in the wings, and not really many that are that comfortable getting to the byline off the left-hand side, dribbling, taking players on. There's a never-ending link with Tottenham to these sorts of players. Yesterday we did the Nusa link. There's the fellow Williams at Atletico Bilbao. There's Samuel Illing Jr. You know, Tottenham are linked with dozens and dozens and dozens of these players, and this one is just another one to add to the list. I'd be surprised if Tottenham were to make a move for this kid. He's very highly rated over in Sociedad. I think Arsenal are also looking at him, and Arsenal, Arteta, I think, according to reports that I've read, has got a relationship with Sociedad. I think he spent a year there when he was in his playing career, and so has some sort of connection. And you know, he's looking at bringing in someone to kind of to compete with Martinelli. And look, Tottenham are looking clearly for a winger, a forward, and one that comes off the left-hand side. Whether it's him or someone else, I'm not sure. But I do like the guy. He does everything that he's supposed to do in terms of creation, in terms of dribbling, in terms of crossing. All that stuff is very good. But ultimately, guys, if you look at his stats, and I will put them up, I'll try and remember to put them up, his output, his goal contributions, goals and assists isn't quite there from memory. And I might be wrong, it might have changed actually since I've even done that, but I think from memory his kind of GA isn't at of that level. And so, you know, we already got a player like that in Timo Werner who can do everything apart from finish. Have we already got players like that in Brennan Johnson, you know, in Manor Solomon? Do we need a player that looks good that gets to the final thing, the final part of the puzzle, and doesn't hit it? And I've mentioned this before. Every team in the Premier League, or most of them, have got a player who's worth 20 million quid, who sits out on the left-hand side and is good at dribbling at players. The difference between a 20 million pound player and a 50, 60, 70 million pound player is output, is the ability to look up at the right time and find the final pass, to take a shot and not scuff it, not kind of fluff your line, so to speak, when the opportunity presents itself. I think we should be looking for wingers. In the absence of a striker that's going to get us 25 goals a year, we need more output from our wingers. We need more goals from the left and the right, from the centre midfield, from the 10s. And this guy, thus far in his career, looks very good. I don't know if, good from afar, but far from good. I like him, but I don't think we should go after him. For me, I don't think he's done enough yet, and I think he'd be quite expensive. So, £15 million rated from memory on transfer market, but I think Sociedad have got 4 years left on his contract, so I think it would be an expensive ordeal, and probably, I think there's better value out there, guys, that we've spoken about ad nauseum on the channel. So, I'm one that's going to say no to this, possibly, probably. But an interesting player, but there's loads of interesting players. So that's about it, guys. We're going to move on from Barrenetxea, however you say his name, and just kind of fill off the incidental bits of information. James Maddison is back for Manchester City. Roy Keane said on his podcast he likes James Maddison, but he thinks he's a good player, but not as good as everyone makes out. He's not as influential to Tottenham as Kevin De Bruyne is to Manchester City, which is interesting. Mickey van der Ven apparently lost his mind, which is unusual for him, and was screaming and shouting at Bentancur or another midfielder during the Manchester United game, and Bentancur had to go up to him and tell him to calm down. I saw that was Ali Gold said that on his video last night. Interesting takeaway. We've got a lot of leaders on the pitch, and another leader was Christian Romero against Manchester United, and I think it was Radu Dragusin who was asked, what did Romero say in the build-up, in the warm-up before, in the huddle before the game. It might not have been Dragusin now, I forget who said it, but it doesn't matter. Romero said to them, relax guys, enjoy the process, it doesn't matter what comes, we play our football and we go again. And you love to see it, guys, you love to see it. When you think about in the isolation here, in the last kind of 3 or 4 weeks, we've seen Romero give that kind of leadership talk, and he put in a wonderful performance against Manchester United. We see Vicario chastising Ryan Sessegnon for not having his positional sense, or being sloppy with his positional sense for the free kicks against Burnley in the Cup. We've seen Mickey van der Ven chastising Bentancur, or whoever it was, the midfielder. If it wasn't Bentancur, it was someone else, for not tracking back. We've got leaders emerging everywhere on this pitch. The out with the old, in with the new, the king is dead, long live the king kind of vibe going on at Tottenham right now. This youthful exuberance that is being shown on the pitch is backed up by a winning mentality, a teamwork, an ethos, and a meaningful relationship with each other's on the pitch, where they're not afraid to bark orders at each other. If someone's dropping the ball, so to speak, if someone is not pulling their weight in just in a moment, then they're going to be reminded of their duties by somebody else. And I love it. I love it. It wouldn't have happened 2 years ago. It wouldn't have happened last year. This Ange Postecoglou revolution has not just been handled from the top, from Ange. It's infecting everything. It's infecting better decision-making from the board, from the scouts, and it's infecting better on-the-pitch communication from the players to each other. Good things are happening, guys. Good things are happening. I'm very, very happy at the moment as a Tottenham fan. You should be too. If you are, let me know how happy you are. Let me know your thoughts on the players we've discussed today. About Sergio Reguilón, is there a plan to maybe use him next season? It's very strange that there's no option on that one. But anyway, we'll let you go there, guys. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, bye-bye.